episode of Coffee with KP. I am Kelly Parker, and I go by KP the Builder. And I have a very special guest for you guys today, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hi guys, I'm Keesha Kaylee. I am a real estate agent currently, as well as an investor and a YouTube influencer.
Dope. So welcome to the show. I see you don't like coffee, so this is Coffee with KP, only drinking coffee. you want some tea or anything?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, cool. Well, I know you hit me up the other day. You say you had a deal or some questions pertaining to real estate. Mm-hmm. And the world may not know this outside of you saying that you're an agent. I actually worked with her in the past.
Yes.
We did some renovation work. I advised some subs to work with them on their beautiful new home, and
Yes.
I think it turned out okay. I'm not sure. They still, I don't know. I didn't go back. Like, I just referred them.
So I definitely wanted to start with how we met, because I think that is vital to the conversation of real estate. Before I became a real estate agent, I became a homeowner first and foremost, and that was a different process for myself and my family. We decided to opt out of new construction and go more into renovating and building and creating a dream home from ground up. I had no prior real estate experience, never worked with contractors, never want to do that again. But that's when we outsourced you, and you were able to give us some of your team members to come in and help pick up some of the pieces of some other people who have dropped the ball. Yeah. But now we are back in the market of building a new home.
Y'all gonna build it yourself?
We do want to build ground up. So
Okay.
This is where you come in, because I wanted to get into this conversation, especially for those people like myself who have no experience with real estate, who do not understand the process of renovation versus building new construction versus new build with the builder who's already pre-selected everything,
right,
and those differences amongst that different fields. So I kind of wanted to get your insight of what does that look like for you when it comes to building a home from ground up versus coming in doing a completely renovated project, as far as the timeliness of it, the costliness of it, and what just makes sense profitable wise in the long term.
You know, I'm gonna lean towards new construction out the gate. There's several reasons why I choose new construction over a fix and flip or a renovation. One of the main reasons is you create what you want from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to go in and redo anything. You don't have to go in and open up walls or change flooring or paint colors or cabinets. You can get all that like custom immediately as far as the construction is concerned. Another reason is the equity that you create while building, like understanding that I'm the builder, I'm working with a GC, I'm handling the build process, I understand the process. I can go in and I can hire the best people for the job and save money outside of saving myself an actual GC fee, which I'll just pay a GC, to somewhat project manage or pull my permits, and I'll take it from there. Because a typical GC may charge anywhere between 10 and 20% of the build cost as their fee. So if I'm building a $500,000 house, they're going to charge me, $50,000 to $100,000 to actually build this house.
Okay.
And I'm saving that because I'm doing all the groundwork. And another thing that people can do that, don't want to just buy new construction from a big box builder, they don't tend to put the best finishes in these houses.
Correct.
Because they like to just get them
Standard.
done. And
It's standard.
Fiberglass
Basic.
tub.
Everything looks the same. Yeah.
Exactly. The white shaker cabinets, you could speak to some builders and just have them get you the sheetrock. Like build a whole house, frame, dry it in, do all the mechanicals, and that sheetrock, they're complete. That means you come in behind them, you choose your paint colors, your flooring, the cabinets, tile, etc. Some builders do offer that. We do that type of building. We love to build a sheetrock because we can get there so fast. Because it's the finishes that take a little longer.
Okay.
Like the flooring, the paint, the trim, the doors, all that take a little longer.
Okay.
But I recommend for you and your family to do what you want to do as far as building the house that you want.
Yeah.
Not just going to buy a piece of property that's been sitting or built 15, 20 years ago and trying to make it your own.
Okay.
It's cool, but you did that already.
Absolutely.
So the next one
And it
definitely
did not work out.
Right.
It did
You
not.
will lose more money trying to
definitely
make
did.
something your own than building from the ground up.
Yes.
And people don't understand that.
So another thing that I want to explain to the audience is the difference between a new build and renovating a project, because not only are you renovating something that was already built and trying to make it your own, but there are so much structural components to a home that most first-time home buyers just do not understand, like myself.
Yeah.
So when we came in and my project and you came over to the house and I'm like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this. This is going to cost X amount of dollars. When we start getting in to do the groundwork, there may be underlying issues with the property, such as furnace needs to be done, HVAC needs to be redone, the entire wiring of the home, plumbing, all those different components add up. And they're thousands of dollars. And people like myself who are not well versed with the home inspection report and who do not understand those things may be thousands of dollars, not into debt, but out of the budget that you initially had set for yourself.
Right.
So okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I wanted to know, like, how feasible is the new construction from ground up process? Because I personally, as a real estate agent, I go and tour these homes, so I'm seeing these new builds, and they're all looking like, for me, it's not for me.
Right.
I have a certain style, I have an aesthetic, and we weren't able to meet that all the way within that process of having to outsource so many different contractors. But now we do think that, you know, after becoming a real estate agent and seeing how the market works, seeing how this process goes, it makes more sense to get something that you really want that's catered to you. But how feasible is that for first-time home buyers who may not have the time, so to speak, from the time of getting the approval to the time they need to be into their new home, as well as the resources and the understanding of how that process even works?
Yeah, again, once you figure out and make your mind up that I'm going to do this new construction. New construction, you can create a takeoff, which is everything that you're going to need for this house. So you're going to know that before you even break ground.
So they come to you. So if I was someone who's completely oblivious to how this works, and I decide today, hey, I want a new construction house, what's step one? Come find you?
Step one is
Or come hire me, then we come find you.
Find an agent. Step one is find an agent, that can help get you some land at a great price.
Okay, so they will buy the land.
Right.
Boom.
No, they'll put the land under contract,
Okay,
and then they'll perform a survey and a soil test if they're going
Okay.
to be building in an area that is requiring septic.
and that costs upfront for the buyer.
Correct.
So on average, what does that look like? Because I know with land, depending
Based
on what
on the
area.
size of some lots, a survey can be anywhere between $500 to $1,500.
Okay,
A soil test around the same price.
okay,
But they can save you, if you go buy a $50,000 lot, they can save you $50,000 by, $49,000 if you done spend $1,000 by performing these tests and getting this survey, because if this lot is not buildable, then you can't build anything on it. You got a kickball field, you got a dog park. You
Okay.
got something that you can't put a structure on.
Okay.
Because the purpose of the soil test is to determine that the area that you're going to build this house or put this septic tank will support the weight and everything else going on in this
Okay.
area. Most people don't understand that. Yeah, I got a survey. Okay.
absolutely.
But did you get any perk tests? Did you get any soil tests? Do you understand what you can build right here? Are you going to have to put a pier system here? Are you going to do a crawl space, a basement, a slab? So you have to understand this while looking at these lots, because all these different types of foundation are different dollar amounts. And that factors into what you want to build. I don't know where we're at. Step 3, you're going to want to come up with a house plan or have a style of house in mind when looking for these lots. Because if I pick a basement style home and I go get a flat lot, I'm not going to be able to put a basement without doing some dramatic land grading and creating a space for the basement. So you got to have an idea of what you want to build. So you're going to have to figure out, 1, get an agent, 2, get the survey soil test, 3, have in mind what you want to build. And once you figure those things out, you can pretty much start estimating or getting estimates on what it's going to cost to build that.
Okay.
And if you understand the process, like what Gene and I teach from the ground up, then you could take a set of plans and pretty much create a scope of work and a line item budget to what it's going to cost.
Okay.
Unlike a renovation, we're gonna circle back to that. You don't know what you get.
Okay.
You might go in and say, yeah, I'm gonna convert this 3-bedroom, 1-bath to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then have to do an addition or pop the top or take a closet from here and do this. But once you start opening these walls and uncovering everything, now you, like you say, you gotta add plumbing.
Yeah.
You gotta do electrical. You gotta run HVAC. You gotta do, so much more than just figuring out I'm gonna build this 3,000 square foot home. The average price to build is about $135, $150. So my budget to build is $450. So I go find a lot for $50,000 or $60,000 or even $100,000 based on the area that I'm building. I can create the equity in this house.
Okay.
Because in these areas that I'm going to build a $500,000 house, I want to make sure that my comps support that plus more.
Absolutely.
I want $700,000 comps if I'm building $500,000 because
Yeah.
I want to be able to refinance when I finish building, put that money in my pocket and transition that style of loan to a 30-year or 15-year mortgage.
So what would the financing process look like for you? What do you think is the direction buyers should go towards when financing these purchases?
Personally, I think like an investor, so I don't think you should buy a house, and don't knock me. I don't think you should buy a house in your personal name if you're an investor. You should buy it in your LLC or company name and rent it to yourself. That way, the type of funding that you're going to use won't interact with or interfere with your, if you need an FHA or VA, anything like that, just get an asset-based loan, a hard money loan or private money. Go build a structure for 70% of the ARV, refinance at 80% of the ARV, put that 10% in your pocket, and convert the rest of that loan into a 30-year loan instead of a short-term loan, and rent it to yourself.
Okay, so what do those qualifications look like for buyers?
Well, they're really not, they're non-recourse loans,
Okay,
meaning they don't report on your personal credit because this is a business-owned property. And once I refinance into a non-recourse 30-year traditional, then Keesha Kaylee LLC owns this real estate right here.
Okay.
And she's renting it to Keesha Kaylee the human.
okay.
And that's reflecting that the income goes to her business, which looks even better. And now she can do this rinse and repeat. You know,
Okay.
they got that Burr method, buy or build,
Yes.
renovate,
Yes.
rent, repeat.
Yes.
So you can do that with your own personal properties if you
Okay.
buy it right.
So do you more so see cash buyers with these investments, or do you see people do buying it in their LLC, which causes you to have to put down how much?
I don't necessarily see a lot of cash buyers,
Okay.
unless they're buying land.
Okay.
They'll buy the horizontal cash, but they'll fund and finance the vertical, meaning the build part of
Okay.
it. And it's better to do it that way because you can actually use that land that you bought cash as collateral on this bill. So
Okay.
if I own this land, I could probably get 80 to 100% financing on the vertical. So I won't have to bring anything to the table because I brought the land. And the type of loan that you're going to get, of course, is going to be a 70% LTV or close to that, meaning that the person lending you the money, the hard money lender or private, they're going to be able to understand that my money's secured because I'm only lending them 70% of what this house is worth.
Yeah.
Although it's enough to complete it, the deal was so strong that it had enough equity in it that even if they default, I'm covered.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. So I love having this conversation because, like I said, myself personally going through that experience and figuring out those hiccups, I knew we cannot go through that process again. It's just a completely different ballpark when you're inexperienced and you don't have anyone. So I wanted to come and have this conversation with you, one of the best builders out here. So can we give everyone a little bit more information about what you're doing right now and what projects you're working on so that they can kind of understand how that goes?
Oh, yeah.
Even though this is
Most
your channel, so I'm pretty sure they already know.
Well, most definitely. Gene and I, we do own Building Builders Academy. We are the Construction Kings. And we have, 70 to 100 students, and maybe half of them are currently breaking ground or already built and sold or currently building. And we try to teach people just like Ms. Keesha how to actually take this information and put it to use and save a lot of money while doing it.
Yeah.
Because this is the most quickest, I'm gonna say most quickest, the most fastest, the expedited way to actually learn how to build.
Yes.
And create this generational wealth for you, your husband, your kids. I mean, when you called me the other day and was like, I got a question to ask you, I say, do you want to do an episode of Coffee with KP?
Yes.
Because that is probably the only way I'm gonna answer these questions.
Yes.
Because people see what I do and they have my number, and I don't mind answering questions, but if I know that they're gonna have multiple questions, I want to put them in front of a camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that the other people out there like yourself that may have these questions get those answers as well.
Absolutely.
So I don't like wasting good questions one-on-one. Now, that's why I don't do one-on-one mentoring.
Yes, I
Because
totally
a whole
understand.
classroom of people probably learn a lot faster than that one-on-one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would be, one of the last few questions, what would be the time frame of building the new construction from the time of locating the land, getting those surveys, checking all the foundational
Do you have an
structure?
idea of which area you want to build?
Yes, I do.
Where is that?
We would say that off camera.
Okay, I mean, which county?
Fulton.
Okay, Fulton
Yes.
County, let's say City of Atlanta or South Fulton. Their permitting process is about 3 months right now.
Okay.
3 to 4 months. So excluding the permit process, let's say as soon as you get your permits and you start your land grading, your LDP, which is the land disturbance permit, put your silt fence up and get ready to start construction, probably from the time that you start your grading to move in, it's gonna be about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's really, really good. So what is the best season? Is this a good season to start that process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most definitely. I do feel that rates are going to go down. So now would be a great time to really, and you as an agent know now is the
Yes.
time to buy.
Yes.
Because real estate ain't getting cheap. It's
For
only
sure.
going up.
For sure.
So now would be the time to start looking for land.
Absolutely.
Because the rates are so high, it's less people looking. And now is the time to get that deal. You can refi it. A lot of
Yeah.
people, don't understand that you, how do you say this? You date the rate and marry the house.
Absolutely.
So you have
Absolutely.
to understand what that means, meaning that I understand I love this house, I'm going to buy this house now, but this rate is only temporary.
Yeah,
I'm
for
dating
sure.
this rate because I'm definitely going to refinance.
And I know pandemic home buyers like myself, like, you know, coming back into this market, we are flabbergasted because, you know, my rate was 3% on my home.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, come back out here. It's like a little bit, but I definitely understand with the knowledge that I have, like dating the rate because it's going to always change and you can always refinance. So
definitely.
that's great. So I'm really, really super excited about this and taking your time out to answer all these questions.
Thank you. If you don't mind sharing with everyone at this camera how to follow you or see
Yay.
what you got going on.
So I'm Keesha Kaylee on everything. That's KEESHA_KAYLEE. So I want to give you a little bit of a background about, just very briefly, about how I got into real estate. So I was a first-time home buyer and I started my process in 2018. I've been an entrepreneur since I was a graduate of Spelman College. So it's about 10 years in the making of being a sole entrepreneur. I did not come from a background of family with anyone who owned a home. So I did not have that experience or education. So it hindered my process a lot and it made my home buying process very stressful, very challenging, and losing earnest money left and right because of not having the right people in my corner to facilitate such a large investment for myself. So long story short, I was finally able to close on my home after going to another real estate agent within 15 days. And then, like I said, I met Kelly. We had the consultation after some of my contractors left mid-project, literally left us high and dry. It's time to move in. We're renting, we're paying mortgage, we're doing all these things. These are the conversations that a lot of people don't have with their clients about that process. And also that education into that experience. And it was a crazy experience, if I do say so myself. I wouldn't tell my clients not to go into that, but I just tried to give them a little bit more information into that realm of understanding, because a lot of people like myself, that's why I love to have these conversations with people like Kelly, who can give us a little bit more insight and feedback. And personally, I do think where I am in my career and what I've seen as a real estate agent, this is a great option to do new construction, new build, getting exactly what you want and just having that team from start to end of who can get the job done, not having bits and pieces come in who can kind of do this or kind of do that, because you do lose money in the long run. and you can lose a lot of what you've invested into it. So currently right now I'm 2 years into this is my second year into real estate. I'm already at $1 million in sales this year, and one of my other specialties is credit repair. So I offer 14-day credit repair services so that my community can get into this atmosphere of home ownership, because we're just not there yet. And I would definitely love to see so many more people who don't have that information, who do not have that knowledge, and who just don't have that gateway of people who can really hold your hand from beginning to the end of this process. Don't let this process be fearful for you. We have people, especially myself, like I always seek out people who are extremely knowledgeable to come and facilitate. And like I said, for people like Kelly who just knows this, if you check out his Instagram, if you check out his work, you just see his student, his progress, and everything that he's been doing. He knows this ground up. And I've just had so many clients recently asking me about that, even myself, knowing like this is something I want to get back into, just doing new build and getting what we want this time around. So it's important to have these type of conversations and to ask those questions. So if you guys have any real estate questions or concerns, or you just need to get yourself together, then definitely reach out to me. I'm pretty sure they have all my personal information in the description box, and then you'll have someone like Kelly being able to help you from start to finish if you do want to move forward with building. But you do renovation work.
Oh yeah,
and
I still got my remodeling company.
Yeah, he still has his remodeling company. Like I said, I've had a few of his members come and renovate projects in my home. But yes, so thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. I appreciate it.
Yes.
So again, this is another episode of Coffee with KP. Dope interview with Keesha Kaylee. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video, but if you haven't, please like, subscribe, and comment on this video, and we'll keep them coming. Have a good one.